Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will discuss GSM, that is known to be a global system for mobile communication. We will discuss the basic concepts of GSM, its features, its basic architectural components like the network components, uh, the BTS, BSC, MSC, operational and maintenance center, and various log registers concerned with the GSM module. Then we will cover the concept of channel, coding, interleaving, ciphering, handovers, signaling, and location update. So starting with the basic introduction of GSM, it includes the history of GSM in which earlier mobile systems were installed. So there in 1981, we are having only the analog cellular communication systems, which were developed by the European cellular systems. They are known to be a Franco-German study of digital pan-European cellular systems. Then after 1989, GSM was moved from the ETSI organization, that is Enhanced Telecommunication of Signaling. Then in 1990, we are having the GSM 900 frequency band system, the GSM system for mobile communication. So it is a set of recommendations and specifications for a digital cellular telephone network known to be a PLMN network. Its main frequency bands are into the 890 to 915 megahertz, and then between the 935 to 960 megahertz for transmission. The 890 to 915 megahertz frequency band is the frequency band that is used for the receiving of signals. That is known to be a receiver frequency band or reverse frequency band, and 935 to 960 frequency megahertz frequency band is for transmission. So it is forward frequency band. The radio frequency carriers are spaced between 200 kilohertz frequency bands that allows 124 carrier signals and 8 per user. Mean to say that every frequency band is the forward frequency band and the reverse frequency band. They are having a space in between them, and that allowed space is 200 kilohertz. So radio frequency carrier signal is a pair of radio frequencies that are used for one in each direction. One frequency band is used for forward communication, and second frequency band is used for reverse communication. So transmit and receive frequencies are always separated by 45 megahertz band. As shown in this diagram, we are having uplink frequencies and downlink frequencies. The uplink frequency band is your receiving frequency band, in which the frequency allowable frequency range is, the lower limit is 890 megahertz and the upper limit is 915 megahertz. Similarly, in the downlink frequencies, we are having the lower limit as 935 megahertz frequencies and the upper limit is 960 megahertz. So GSM operates on 900 megahertz frequency bandwidth. So next we are having the digital communication standard 1800 frequency bandwidth range, in which we are having 1800 frequency band that is allocated for forward as well as for reverse frequencies. So in 1800 megahertz frequency band, we are having the lower bandwidth 1710 megahertz and upper bandwidth is 1785 megahertz. It is allocated for uplink frequencies that are used for reception of radio signals. And in downlink frequencies, the lower edge of frequency is 1805 megahertz frequencies and the upper edge is 1880 megahertz frequency band to be used for transmission of the signals, of the radio signals. So as in 900 frequency band, In 1800 frequency band, we are also having the spacing in between them, the 200 kilohertz spacing between the RF carriers, supported for 8 users, and it allows the total of 373 carriers. So each transmission and reception frequencies and the receiving frequencies are separated by 95 megahertz. In earlier 900 frequency bandwidth in GSM, these frequencies, the transmission frequencies and the receiving frequencies, they are separated by 45 megahertz. But in this 1800 frequency band, they are separated by 95 megahertz of frequency band. So these are the allocation of frequencies for GSM frequencies. So GSM operates on two frequency bands, 900 frequency band and 1800 frequency bands. So next comes to the features of GSM. We are having a large number of features that are available in global system for mobile. Those features include the increased system capacity, means more number of users can be accommodated as compared to the earlier analog systems. GSM systems have better audio quality. They use standardized open interface. They have improved security and confidentiality. They have more clear handovers. Subscribers identification is there, and it has enhanced range of services, and they have incorporated the frequency reuse concept. So spectrum allocation is also well utilized in GSM. So now I'll explain these features one by one. The GSM system provides a greater subscriber capacity than analog systems. GSM allows 8 conversations per 200 kilohertz channel pair. One transmission channel and one receiving channel. They incorporate digital channel coding and modulation that makes signal resistance to interference from cells where the same frequencies are reused. Now the audio quality. The as we know that GSM technology is based on digital transmission. So the speech and the high performance digital signal processors are there that will provide the good speech quality transmission of audio signals. So GSM is based on digital technologies. The signals are passed over digital air interface. They can be protected against errors by use of various error detection and correction techniques. So the digital signals are more immune to interference and noise signals. So they have better audio quality as compared to the analog technique. Third feature is about the use of standardized open interface. So it incorporates the signaling system number 7, that is SS7, and the protocol X.25. They are incorporated into the GSM standards. So they have their own capabilities and features that are also included in GSM standard, like they have high flexibility in which the network components are situated. As signaling system number 7 is incorporated in GSM technology, so it will have a set of telephone signaling protocols, and they are having the features like the setup and tear down public switch telephone networks and telephone calls. So the mobile communication is interfaced with the landline network also through this SS7 signaling. So it performs the number translation, local number portability, prepaid billing, SMS features, and other mass marketing services. Now, as X.25 protocol is also included in GSM technology, X.25 is basically a International Telecommunication Union's territory standard protocol suite for packet switched wide area network communication. It contains the leased lines and PS. Leased lines are the plain old telephone service connections that are used for ISDN connections as physical links. and PSC are the packet switch exchange, in which the nodes has the network hardware. Now, the next feature is about improved security and confidentiality. So GSM offers high speech and data confidentiality. So in which we are having the various features like the subscriber authentication is there, in which the authenticated user, the valid users can have access to the channel. The calls are encoded and ciphered when sent over the air interface. The equipment, the mobile equipment can be identified independently from the mobile subscriber. So it has a unique identity number that is incorporated. It has a feature of EIR, that is Equipment Identity Register, that will store the all user related information into its database. So if the mobile phone or the equipment is stolen, then its specifications will be already retained into the EIR register, and they can be reported for stolen case, and they can be easily traced out in case we are having the entries into the EIR register. The next is the cleaner handovers. So for smooth handover process, GSM uses the mobile assistant handover technique, in which the handovers handovers will proceed in such a way that there is no interruption of call. The mobile itself carries out the signal strength and quality measurement of its server and the signal strength measurements of its neighbors. The data is passed to the network, which then uses the more sophisticated algorithms to determine the need of the handover. The next feature is about the subscriber identification. In GSM, it incorporates this unique feature that the mobile station, the mobile device, and the subscriber. Subscriber is basically the user who uses the mobile device. They both will be identified separately. The subscriber is identified by means of a smart card number known as SIM number. This enables the subscribers to use different mobile equipment while retaining the same subscriber number. So you see that you have a one SIM, and that SIM can be used in multiple mobile devices. So the number carries the same. So this is your unique subscriber number that can be used in every mobile equipment. So every SIM has a subscriber identification number that are incorporated into a SIM. SIM is basically your subscriber identity module, in which all the user information will be retained. So more features are like enhanced range of services, in which we are having SMS features, cell broadcast features, traffic information, advertisement features. These kind of features are available. Like the supplementary services are also available, like the number system identification, call waiting, call bearing, call display, the billing information, the data rate informations, like which data rate plan is currently being used. So these kind of enhanced range of services are available in GSM systems. Frequency reuse concept that we explained in the previous lecture, it is also incorporated into the GSM technology. Now we will come to the basic architectural components of GSM. So this is the architectural overview of the GSM, in which we are having large number of components that are incorporated. Here we are having the main components like the BTS, base transceiver stations, BSC, base subscriber centers, the MSC, the mobile switching center, and various other log registers incorporated with this MSCs. And then we are having PSTN, that is public switch telephone network. So starting from the first network component, that is your mobile station. Mobile station is basically equipped with a mobile telephone and a user interface. And then we are having in the mobile unit is connected with the BSC through a link known as UM interface, and it is connected with the number of BTS. BTS are your base transceiver stations. So now I will explain the functions of each and every block that are in architectural component. So first one is your main switching mobile switching center, MSC. MSC is used to coordinate the setting up of calls to and from the GSM users. MSC is basically a telephone switching office for mobile stations that originate or terminate the calls. MSC has certain features like the bearer services, tele services, and supplementary services. In bearer services, MSC provides the services like call setup, call termination. In tele services, it will establish the connection with the other PLMN networks. In supplementary services, we are having the enhanced services like call waiting, call billing, call forwarding. These kind of services are available in supplementary services. MSC is main heart of this GSM network. MSC, your mobile switching center, it is the heart of GSM network. It controls a number of base station subsystems, BSS, within a specified geographical coverage area. Like see in this diagram, we are having the first unit as MS. MS is your mobile station. Mobile station is your mobile equipment itself. So mobile station basically contains the mobile equipment and a SIM card. Mobile station is then interfaced to the BSS unit. Here see the upper diagram. The mobile unit MS is interfaced to the BSS base switching center, which incorporate the two main elements, the BSC and the BTS. BTS is your base transceiver station and BSC is base switching center. One BSC contains number of BTS. So in every BSC, we are having number of BTS stations that are that one BSC controls. Base transceiver stations are basically the towers in which the large number of components are there, like the transmitting antennas, receiving antennas, duplexers. These kind of devices are used for transmission and reception of electromagnetic signals, RF signals. And number of BTS are controlled by a unit, BSC, base station controller. Now in a particular region, we are having large number of BTS and there can be a one BSC or more than one BSC that can control these BTS in a particular area. Now further, these BTS and BSC, these components are connected through an air interface to the mobile switching center, MS. Here, as I already told to you, that MS is part of this GSM technology. So it will control the number of base station subsystems, BSS, within a specified geographical coverage area. It gives the radio subsystem access to the subscriber and equipment databases. When the MSC provides the interface between the PSTN and BSS, the GSM network, then it is known to be a gateway MS. Fine. So when MSC will establish connection with the other networks, the other public switch telephone networks, then the MSC will be known to be a gateway MS. So here in MSC we are having registers that are equipped with it. Those registers are like VLR. VLR is known as a visitor location register. It incorporates HLR. HLR is home location register. TIR is equipment identity register. OMC is operational and maintenance center. Here, this is the large overview of this MSC. The MSC is connected with the other databases. Other important functions of MSC are like call processing, operational and maintenance support. In call processing, it will control the data and voice call setup. It will have the connections between the BSS and MSC, and it will perform the smooth handovers. It controls the mobility management. In operational and maintenance support, it has database management. It will monitor the traffic through traffic metering, and it will manage the interface between the GSM and other telephone networks, PSTN networks. This is the overview of MSC. This one. This is the MSC overview. Now comes to the mobile station explanation. Here, mobile station, as I already told, it will include the two things, the mobile equipment and the subscriber identity module SIM. Mobile equipment is your mobile device that we are using, the mobile phones. These are the mobile equipment. They are hardware used by the subscriber to access the network. They can be vehicle mounted with the antenna that will be physically mounted on the outside of the vehicle, or it can be any portable mobile unit which can be handled. The next module of mobile station is your subscriber identity module, SIM. SIM identifies the mobile subscriber and it provides the information about the service that the subscriber should receive. It contains various kinds of other information, like it contains the IMSI number. IMSI number is International Mobile Subscriber Identity Number. This is the unique number which will identify the mobile subscriber. It only transmits over the air during the initialization. Another information is about the temporary mobile subscriber identity, that is TMSI number. It is also used to identify the subscriber. This TMSI number periodically changed by the system to protect the subscriber from being identified by someone that will attempt to monitor the radio interface. Other information that the SIM will contain is location area identity, which is used to identify the current location of the subscriber. The authentication keys like a subscriber authentication key KI. It also includes to authenticate the SIM card. Another is the mobile station international standard data number, MSISDN number. SIM will also contain this mobile station international standard data number that is used for used as the telephone number for the mobile. So here is the format for the IMSI and IMI number. So IMSI number includes three fields: the mobile country code, that is of 3 digits, the mobile network code of 2 digits, and the mobile subscriber identity number of 9 digits. Similarly, we are having the IMEI format, in which it has a 6 bits tag field, that is type approval code, 2-bit final assembly code tag, and serial numbers having 6 digits, and 1 spare digit reserved for future use. So basically, the CGI, the Cell Global Identity format, includes the location area identification, in which it will include the fields like mobile country code, mobile network code, location area identity, and cell identity. So if you want to locate any mobile device in a particular region, then this Cell Global Identity CGI will be used to locate the mobile if the mobile is stolen. Now, as I already told that in MSC, this MSC, the various databases are connected with it. Those databases are your HLR, Home Location Register, Visitor Location Register, VLR, Authentication Center, AUC, and Operational and Maintenance Center, OMC. I'll explain the functions of these one by one. Now, first one is Equipment Identity Register, EIR. So EIR will contain a centralized database for validating the International Mobile Station Equipment Identity. It is a database that is remotely accessed by the MSC in the network, and it can also be accessed by the MSC in the different public land mobile networks. Basically, the EIR database contains 3 lists of mobile numbers. Those are known as white list, gray list, and black list. White list contains those number series of equipment identities that have been allocated in the different participating countries. So this list doesn't contain individual number, but it will contain the range of numbers for identification of beginning and end of the series. So every mobile number having the beginning and end of series, so those are incorporated into the white list. Then in gray list, it will contain the IMEI of equipment that is to be monitored and observed for location and correct function. Then we are having the third list known as black list. It will contain the numbers that are blacked out, that are barred numbers, or in which they are the numbers that are stolen or they are having denial of service. So in whitelist, all the valid assigned identifications are there. In gray list, there are the mobile numbers that are in which the services are allowed. In blacklist, those numbers, it will contain those numbers in which there are denied of service. Next database connected with the MSC unit is HLR. This is Home Location Register. It will contain the master databases of all subscribers in the public and mobile networks. This data is remotely accessed by the MSC and the visitor location registers in the network. So in home location register, basically the local users, the local subscribers information will be retained in home location register. So the total number of subscribers that are in a particular region, in a particular area, those information will be retained in the home location register. Every subscriber data can be accessed through its IMSI or MS-ISDN. The various parameters that are stored in home location register are the subscriber identification, current subscriber visitor location register, the supplementary services that every subscriber has subscribed, the supplementary services informations, the various security and authentication keys, and other information that are related with the local subscribers. They are retained in HLR register, home location register. The next database connected with the MSC unit is VLR. VLR means the visitor location register. Visitor location register will contains the information of all the roaming users. So every roaming user that when it comes to a particular MSC, then that information of subscriber will be retained into the visitor location register. So any local subscriber database that holds details on those subscribers will enter the area of the network that it covers. The details are held in the visitor location register until the subscriber moves into the area by the another visitor location. So it will have the data stored like mobile status, its location area identity, its TMSI number, and its mobile station roaming number. The next database is Authentication Center. it will contains all the security related things into it. So normally the authentication process usually takes place each time the subscriber initializes the system. So A3 algorithm is basically used inside the mobile station for authentication purpose. So students, that's all for today.